Hey Reluctant Preppers, you could have been watching this video the moment it came out.
By going to healingyourself.life and subscribing to our new sister channel, Healing Yourself. See you there! Healingyourself.life provides information for awareness, educational, and support purposes only and does not diagnose or prescribe treatment for any medical condition. Viewers are encouraged to do their own due diligence and consult with their own medical caregivers before making personal treatment decisions.
Hi, I'm Melody Kaiser, and this is my good friend Donna, who is a nurse, and we're going to be talking today about her journey through breast cancer and how she survived that and how she's thriving now through that. And just a disclaimer that neither one of us can give medical advice or things like that, but we want to talk specifically about her journey and how what she went through might be able to help some other people, but always seek your own professional advice. Through going through your own doctors and stuff like that. Okay, so Donna, what I would like to start talking about is how did you even find out you had breast cancer? What were some of your symptoms?
Okay, well, there really wasn't a lot of symptoms. I didn't feel terrible. You know,
Okay.
I've been pretty healthy. I was tired a lot, but that had to do with another issue that was going on. Funny enough that I don't normally look at myself when I get out of the shower, and I just happened to be downstairs in my husband's shower, and as I was getting out, I caught the top half of myself in the mirror, and
Okay.
I thought, wow, one of the left breast that had the cancer in it had a retracted nipple, means the nipple was sinking inward.
right.
And I thought, gosh, that's strange. And when I was doing self-breast exam, I just felt this fullness in my breast, and I don't know how to explain it other than like if you're nursing a baby or need to nurse a baby and your breast feel full.
Right.
That's what I felt like. So I went
Okay.
to the doctor's, and she did a breast exam, and she said, you know, I'd like to send you to a surgeon and get that checked out.
Wow.
And I had never had a mammogram, and that's a whole other topic. we can
Right,
talk
right,
about.
because there's a new information on mammograms.
Right, and
yeah.
I didn't want to have one for a variety of reasons. They
Right.
increase your breast cancer risk and everything else.
Yes.
So she said, well, I know you don't want to have one, but I need to send you for one in order for a surgeon to look at you.
Yeah.
So I went and had the mammogram done. And after I had the mammogram completed, the technician came back and she said, well, we can't find anything. We don't see anything. Can you
okay.
point out exactly where you're having the problem? And I did. And she said, well, I'll let the doctor know. And she came back and said, well, the doctor says he'd like to do an ultrasound and see if we can see
Okay.
something that way. And as soon as he did the ultrasound, boom, it popped right up on the screen and he could see it.
Interesting.
And he said, let's do a biopsy. I have time. It was the end of the day. He said, do you want to just biopsy it while you're here? I said, okay.
Yeah, scary.
I wasn't prepared for that.
Right.
Then after he biopsied that, then he had to put a little marker in there, and I had to get another mammogram
Okay.
right after that. And then I got the results back.
It's interesting to me because I've had other relatives who've had mammograms and things came back normal, and then they found it themselves.
Right, right.
So that's
the
another
majority
issue
of
is-
women do find it
Yes,
themselves. And
is
if I
another
would have
issue.
been one of those women
Yeah.
who was going in for a routine screening, they would have never found it. I would have went home on my way.
Thinking
and-
you're fine. Yeah, very interesting. And so then we go and you got it biopsied.
Right.
And then the diagnosis, what happened with the diagnosis?
The biopsy came back. The doctor called and said, well, it's positive for cancer.
Wow.
And yeah, that just blew me away.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought because
No,
I just
I
kind of
know.
had a moment there.
Yeah, it is. It's very terrifying.
yeah.
Any cancer diagnosis, I think, is terrifying for anyone to
Right.
feel like, now this changes my whole life. This is
Right.
huge life changer.
Right. And at the time we have 7 children, and 3 of them were still at home. 3 or 4. 3 of them were still at home.
Okay. Hard to keep track.
Right. And yeah. So then I met with the surgeon, and she said she'd like to send me for an MRI. So then I had an MRI so that she could get a better picture of
Okay.
what the extent of the cancer was.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that done. And so she said, I think we can do a lumpectomy where they can just take the tumor out and we'll be good. And she said sometimes the oncologist would like to follow up with radiation and tamoxifen after that, depending on, you know, if things go well. So the well scenario was radiation and tamoxifen.
Okay.
So when I had the lumpectomy done, that came back that the margins of the tumor were not, it wasn't completed. So that meant that the tumor was deeper.
Okay.
So there was still tumor left in there. She didn't get it all. In other words, she didn't get it all.
Okay.
And then she also biopsied a lymph node that came back positive. So then I was dealing with that. Didn't know the extent because she just biopsied the closest lymph node to the breast. And so at that point, I didn't know, is it all the way through my lymph system? Is it in my brain? Where else is it? I didn't know. It was
oh my gosh,
horrific.
terrifying. Yeah,
it was terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how did you find out that no, it didn't go to your brain, and how did they, you know, what doctor told you you're good? I mean, you're good in that sense. It seems localized and not spread.
That wasn't until I had the mastectomy done, the complete mastectomy. So there was a long time. You know,
okay, so you went, they didn't get it. They didn't get it. So you had 2 surgeries, basically.
Right. I had the lumpectomy and then, and then the mastectomy.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And then you have a 3rd surgery as reconstruction.
Right. Right.
Okay.
And actually, they did the reconstruction at the same time, but
they did.
the initial steps, when people think, oh, you had reconstruction at the same time and everything goes away, it's a process of reconstruction.
Oh.
So that's a whole other topic as well.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm sort of ignorant on the cancer issue. So they did the surgery. This was a surgeon who did the surgery, and then you go to the oncologist, who your surgeon said wants to take you on tamoxifen and maybe radiation. Right. So the oncologist doesn't do the surgery; it's a surgeon that does.
Right.
Then they go to the oncologist for other.
For the cancer.
For the further up.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So she asked me where I wanted to go. I said, well, you know, where I live, who would be the closest physician, proximity, and a good physician. And so she gave me the name of the oncologist, and I went to see him. The first visit was not well. He was just had issues of patient treatment, I guess I should say.
Okay.
How do I word that?
Bad bedside manner?
Bad bedside manner. That's a good,
Okay. He might have been intellectually there, but not personable.
Right.
Yeah, really not
so we had some
personable.
issues first off with that.
Okay.
And so he talked with me about tamoxifen, and I asked him what the side effects of that would be, and he tried to tell me, well, I don't foresee you being on it that long. Side effects that you may get uterine cancer or something later on, I don't foresee that being a problem with you, but that's one of the side effects, among other things, blood clots and other things to go with the tamoxifen. And so I started researching that at home. I didn't want to make a decision right away about that, but I just knew in my heart that it just sickened me inside to think about taking this drugs that were going to possibly cause me more cancer later on.
Yes.
And I can't really tell you how I came upon oncotype testing, but I was just researching things about breast cancer and testing.
Was that research online?
Right,
Okay.
researching online.
Okay.
And for some reason, I say it was God incidence, but I came across the website for oncotype testing, and I would encourage anyone to who's diagnosed with breast cancer to have that oncotype test done. It was a test done several years ago. In a brief synopsis, I'll say it was done on several thousand women, and they found that the majority of women, 90%, didn't need chemotherapy or radiation treatment, didn't fare any better, I should say, didn't fare any better with chemotherapy and radiation therapy after a mastectomy.
Okay.
So I thought, I want to get this test done, because that way I'll know I can make a better informed decision about what's best for me.
Right.
And so I called the doctor on the phone and I said, I'd like to have oncotype testing. I should back this up. When I went to the follow-up for the surgeon, first of all, she was a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Okay.
And I said, I've been doing some research and I read about oncotype testing. What do you think? And she said, oh, you know, your cancer was EP positive, estrogen progesterone positive, and HER2 negative, meaning it was slow growing.
Oh,
she said, you would be the ideal candidate for that. How did you ever know about that? I said, I don't know. I said, I was researching. It came upon. I just started reading about it. It's in the New England Journal of Medicine.
Wow.
And She said, you would be a great candidate for that. I said, could you order it? She said, oh, not me. I just do surgery. But when you go to talk to the oncologist, ask him, he can order it for you.
Okay.
So then when I went to talk to the oncologist, I asked him about it. And he said, oh, thank you for being a well-informed patient. I will order that test for you. How did you ever find out about it? Told him. God incidents. I don't know. I was doing research. I came upon this New England Journal of Medicine
Wow.
Research paper, and I read it, and I think it would help me make a more informed choice.
Informed choice, yes.
Yeah. So.
But you think any good doctor would say that's a good idea?
Right. You'd think a well-informed doctor would have offered me that test, would have known my cancer was EP positive and HER2 negative, and that I would have been an ideal candidate.
Right.
I don't know why he didn't offer it instead of me having to ask for it.
Right.
So he said he would offer the test. The test, they actually take your breast tissue and send it out to a lab in California, and it takes a couple, 2 or 3 weeks for them to get it. It takes a couple, 2 or 3 weeks for them to run the test and get the results back. So I made an appointment with him for, I think, 4 or 5 weeks out from there, and he thought that I would have the results back in time for the appointment. I showed up for the appointment, and he didn't come in for about 30 minutes. And then when he finally did come in addition to some bedside manner issues that he had, he told me that, well, the lab didn't send your results back today. I'm sorry. They were supposed to get them to us this morning, and we don't have them yet. And I said, well, you know, I told you you could have called, and I'd be willing to reschedule.
Right,
so
right,
someone at
exactly.
the office should have known if my results weren't there to call me and say, hey, we need to reschedule. And so he said, well, I'm sorry, they don't have them done yet, so we can't talk about those today. So I left, and then someone from the office called and wanted to discuss payment for the oncotype testing. And I asked again for the name and the number of the company doing it, the testing out in California. I knew the name of the company, but I didn't have their telephone number. So as soon as I got off the phone with her, I called out to California and talked to them, and they said, I'm sorry, we don't even have your tissue at our lab yet.
Oh my gosh.
So the doctor lied about even sending that.
Wow.
And then they said, well, we haven't even talked to the doctor until the day after you saw him, so we didn't even get an order from him until that day.
Okay.
So he lied about that whole thing.
Wow.
So right there, my faith
Yeah.
in the whole
Yeah, if
system
a doctor's going to
oncology.
lie to you, that's not a good sign.
Right.
Not a good sign.
So I followed that up with calling the nursing staff, talked to the nursing supervisor. I eventually wrote a letter to the president of the hospital and the patient support team that's there and let them know my concerns. I wrote a 2-page letter, very detailed, and was very objective in things that I wanted to bring to their attention, not only his poor bedside manner, but the fact that he lied.
Yeah.
And then, I don't feel comfortable going to see him anymore.
Right.
I don't have faith in this
No.
doctor. There's no reason. He could have just said, I'm sorry, there was a mistake.
Yeah.
Just be honest, and I would have understood, but,
Right,
but not
right.
lie to me. So eventually then I also I just recently wrote a letter to the medical board where he is licensed and
Okay.
asked them to investigate that as well, because I don't want to see other women
Right.
in my same situation be treated the same way that I was treated. I also, I have many years in the nursing field, so
Right.
I know a lot more, no more questions to ask, and I can't help but think some women who are diagnosed
Very
with breast
ignorant,
cancer
yes.
who don't have a clue. They wouldn't
No.
know to ask
No.
the things that I would know to ask. So.
Right. Right. And they can then get treatment that may not be the best for them in their
Right.
outcome. Yeah. Right.
And so I'm very much about just getting women information,
Okay.
letting them know their options. You need to be educated so that you can make an informed choice about your health care. Whatever you decide, just
Yes.
make sure you are well informed and know.
Right. Yeah. And we are lucky, I think, nowadays. You can go on the internet and get things from the American. It was the American Journal.
New England Journal of
New
Medicine.
England Journal of Medicine. So-
PubMed is a great resource.
Okay.
Dr. DeSauniers quotes PubMed in her book and on her
Okay.
website quite frequently. There's a lot of good information on PubMed as
PubMed.
well.
Okay. That's another thing I should probably write down so we can put it up. And then I wanted to also go. So you got finally you went back. Did you go to the same oncologist or did you go to a different one as far as?
I didn't go to any further oncologists.
Okay, so how did you get your results then if you didn't have to go back to your oncologist?
Well, I called because I paid for my oncotype testing,
Yeah.
and I called the company back and said, I want a copy of my results. Because when I met with the doctor as well, I said I wanted a copy of my test results. And he kept saying, I will write up a little progress note and we will discuss it. And I said, no, I don't want to just discuss it. I want a copy of my actual test results. And he said, oh, no, I'll write it up and we'll talk about it. And I said, for the third time, no, I want an actual copy of my test results.
Okay.
And he was very irritated by that request. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So I called back out to the lab in California, and I said, you know, I paid for this test out of pocket because our insurance didn't cover that.
Wow.
Well, I shouldn't say that. We
Okay.
have our insurance isn't traditional insurance, but that's another topic.
Right. Yeah, we do have that on the list. Hopefully we'll get
So
to
I'm a
that.
self-paying patient. I should say it
Okay.
that way. I'm a self-paying patient.
Yeah.
So I paid for the test, and I said, I'd like to have a copy. He said, no problem. He said, as soon as we receive payment, we'll send you a copy. And by golly, they
Nice.
did.
Wow.
So after my tissue was sent out there, it took another 3 weeks, maybe, around that time. I'm trying to think. Got my results in the mail, and I was ecstatic because anything under 15, and that's a relative term to if I could go into the whole result.
Right.
But anything under that, my result was 12, so I was very much under the cutoff of you really don't need chemotherapy and radiation.
You don't.
That study was done for women who took tamoxifen as well. So,
Okay.
And I thought with everything I'm doing naturally, I'm going above and beyond what the women in the study.
So they just had the surgery and they were done.
They had the
and
surgery.
you could have had the surgery and been done
Right.
if you felt comfortable with that.
Right.
Okay, got it. Wow, that's wonderful results.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'll throw in there that once I started reading Dr. DeSaunier's book and doing research, I also started taking B17, which is amygdalin.
Yeah.
And that,
Which I think is the apricot seed.
Right, apricot
Okay.
seed. It's found in apple seeds. It's found in a lot of other seeds, but it's very high in the apricot seed. It's the highest, I think, that you can get is when you take it via the apricot seed.
Okay.
So that lymph node that was originally positive, when I went back and had the mastectomy, they sent that lymph node that was originally positive and biopsied, came back negative.
Wow.
And the only thing I had been doing at that time was taking the B17 and some multivitamins and things like that. So that gave me courage and hope that, okay, I did something. And the doctor said, well, you got your miracle. I don't know what to say, but your lymph node was positive for cancer and it came back negative after we took. So
that's incredible. That's
yeah.
incredible.
So then it gave me courage to continue seeking out more natural things. And complementary and alternative medicine doctor.
Okay.
Who has just been fabulous working with him. So, and a lot of support with my good friend that led me with this book. I got started on essential oils and IV vitamin C and chelation therapy because I also had a lot of other issues going on. I went and had heavy metals testing done.
Right.
Because
I think, sorry to interrupt.
I know, I could just,
no, that's
so
good
much
that you're,
to talk about.
It is. But let's go back there, and I think that maybe one of the things that you thought that maybe might have caused the breast cancer, because really you were young, you've nursed all your children, and so you really aren't supposed to have gotten breast cancer in the first place because you did most of the right things.
Right.
Just
I thought I was eating healthy, breastfed all my babies, exercised.
Yeah, and which, just so people know, breastfeeding is one of the things that actually helps prevent breast cancer.
Right.
So you did all the right things. So now you're suspecting maybe because I think you said you also had a low vitamin D levels.
Right.
And then higher in mercury. And that maybe those things.
It was the perfect storm.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have thought that I was a person susceptible to vitamin D deficiency. I got out. I'm always out in the sun. I garden. We have a mini farm. I'm outside a lot. Yeah. And I ate plenty of dairy, drank a lot of milk, ate a lot of cheese, yogurt. I thought, why would I be vitamin D deficient?
Right.
But lo and behold, my complementary and alternative medicine doctor said, probably the majority of people that live in the northern hemisphere are vitamin D deficient, so you should have that checked. And came back that I was very deficient. I was very deficient in vitamin D, so he put me on a supplement of that right away. And I will say that if you are vitamin D deficient, you have an 83% increase in chances of breast cancer. Wow. Just being vitamin D deficient. So it's very, very important for women. I don't know why all OBGYNs
aren't putting women on vitamin D.
Or checking it, at least check it.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with a lady on the phone about vitamin D, and she said she had fought with her insurance company because it costs $230 or $40 to get a vitamin D level test. And they said there was no reason for her to get it, but her doctor wanted it. And I said, wow, first of all, that was expensive because I think I paid $60 for my vitamin D level.
Okay.
And then my bottle of vitamin D, $16.50. So I fixed that deficiency with, under $80.
Yeah. Yes, right. Yeah, different. It is depending on where you go for your tests.
Right.
We found out it can be very expensive or low cost.
Right.
So that is something to always check out before you get your test, is to try to find a lab to get the lab work done at a less expensive lab.
Right.
And sometimes your doctor can help you with that because they do know the cost. Some do not have any idea, but some might. And the other thing was how this affected you and your family. Were you, obviously when you had the surgery, you were laid up for a while.
Right.
And how did you get the support you needed from family, friends, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, my husband, having gone through this almost 7 years ago, I think he understood it at an emotional level where I was and what I was going through.
So he could really empathize.
Right. And sometimes you just need to give somebody space. You're having so much thrown at you and doctors.
Yeah.
And then, of course, being in the medical field, I know a lot. And so I knew enough to scare me.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming to be unsure about everything.
Yeah.
So he was a good support system. But I have to say, too, you're so emotional. You're on this emotional roller coaster.
Right.
I'm thinking, am I going to live? Am I going to die? Am I doing the right thing? And at one point we had this conversation. He said to me, Donna, you really, you have to do the chemo and the radiation.
Okay.
We've got kids at home.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him. Well, are you for real? For real? Do you?
Yeah.
And I just shook my head. I don't know what else. I didn't know what to say to him.
Yeah,
I was angry that he would even suggest that. I know he was trying to gently say, look, the doctors are saying this is what you need to do.
Right.
And I don't think my mom at first was very convinced of what I was doing.
Right, yeah, right.
And, what are you doing? You're going to go see these alternative medicine doctors.
You're crazy.
Right, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But she was very supportive in that she was bringing meals over, and that was great. I had friends from church came over, a good friend of mine that brought her daughters over and helped with our garden so that we could have fresh fruits and vegetables that year because I was in no shape to be tending a garden.
Yeah.
So that was really generous. And prayers, lots and lots and lots of prayer. I can't, that's what got me through the whole thing. So.
Yeah, it can be huge. I think some people don't realize, but when you have a team of people praying for you, it can really matter. It makes a big difference. It can make a big difference. So it was, I'm sure, must have been scary for your kids, and also it sounds like for your husband. It sounds like him wanting to maybe you have to do the chemo was more of a thing that would make him feel better, and not necessarily you feel better, but make him feel like and it is scary because
and him not knowing about all this natural stuff. You want to take some vitamins and you think that's going to cure it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, and your family, how did they handle all of this? Was it hard for them? And now you mentioned your mom wasn't sure. Now as you've gone through, we'll share that, but then also share maybe like, have they come around? Has anybody come around to go, wow, what you did worked?
Yeah. And when I could call my family and tell them, as of last November, I had a T1 thermogram, which is the best thermography level you can get.
So thermography, let's maybe stop there for a minute and say thermography is another type of thing where you probably can explain it better than I've never had it done, but I've heard there's benefits in it. There's no radiation. So people can get their breast exams through thermography. Unfortunately, insurance doesn't pay for it quite yet.
Right. Some insurance companies do.
They will, okay.
Some, but most of them, I would say, no.
Did your insurance company pay?
The insurance that we use, which is non-traditional.
Right, non-traditional insurance,
Yes.
It's
right.
like a co-op, right?
Right. I always tell people when they ask me, what is that? I say it's like the Amish. We help to pay for each other's medical bills, but it's a Christian medical sharing.
Okay.
So when someone gets sick, we help to pay each other's medical bills, and we pray for each other. So
okay. So give us a little idea of what thermography is and how people can get it if they want it, and what can it show? What does it show?
Thermography is basically a heat picture, and it's completely safe. There's no radiation, there's no magnetism. It's not like getting an MRI or a mammogram. So, and it takes probably all of 10 minutes. And it's very hands-off. The technician doesn't touch you at all. There's no equipment that touches you at all. You're basically standing in front of a camera, and you're undressed from the waist up, and you have your hands in the air, and they take a heat picture of your body, whatever body part they're taking the thermography of, because you can have a breast thermography, you can have thermography of any part of your body, really, I think. So it's a heat picture, and it's sensitive enough to pick up changes in tissues of the breast or wherever they're looking. And it can pick up changes in your breast tissue 5 to 8 years earlier than a mammogram.
Wow.
5 to 8 years earlier. So wouldn't you want to know?
Yeah.
5 to 8 years before you find out you have cancer.
That's right.
That's the time to do something about it. Well, the time to do something is to be preventative.
Of course.
But if you're going to go, your body's heading down that road, it would be much better to find out.
You can do nutritional things.
Right, exactly. They tweak your nutrition and tweak your exercise and tweak your sleep patterns and all those things that go into being healthy. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then, so how did you find the non-traditional doctor, the alternative doctor?
Alternative medicine. Yeah. Well, I actually I can't remember where I got the first naturopathic doctor's name from, but I called her, and she said, I don't help in treating cancer patients, but I have the name of a doctor that you should go see.
Okay.
And so I called him, went in to see him, and he said, well, we don't treat cancer, but we can treat you for whatever deficiencies you have.
Okay.
And so he said, I think IV vitamin C would be very beneficial. That would give your immune system a huge boost.
Yes.
And vitamin C is a powerhouse against cancer.
Yeah.
And so I started on that road. I had a total of, I think, between 10 and 15 IV vitamin C treatments.
Okay.
And at that same time as well, I had my heavy metals checked because I had 7 amalgams in my mouth, which are mercury-filled fillings in my mouth. And mercury can act as a xenoestrogen, so it can increase the estrogen levels in your body. My estrogen level was almost 10 times the normal level that I should have. So something was driving the estrogen in my body between the low vitamin D level, which can cause your breast cancer, and the mercury level. I had 10 times the mercury in my system that is considered normal if should be 0 mercury in your system.
Right. And say that again, how you determined you had the mercury in your system.
I had a heavy metals test done. When I went to see the alternative medicine doctor, he's actually a medical doctor and a CAM doctor, complementary and alternative medicine doctor. So he went to regular medical school, and then after that he also went to 4 years of alternative medicine school. So he can write prescriptions for everything that you would need a prescription for, plus he can treat you with alternative medicine. So he's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So then I began IV chelation therapy to get the mercury and a couple of other heavy metals out of my system. And I was happy to say in August, I believe, I think it was August or September, when I got my heavy metals test back, that said my mercury level was 0.
Wow.
And he told me, I don't know if I've seen anyone go to 0 with their mercury level.
Wow.
So that was exciting. So my mercury level was down to 0. My vitamin D level was back to norm.
Is that a simple blood test, or is that something else?
The heavy metals testing?
Yeah.
Heavy metals testing is really easy. It's through a urine test.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you take a couple of DMPS tablets, and you collect your urine for an hour or so. He's doing it a little bit different now. They've tweaked that a little more recently. and then it takes about 2 or 3 weeks, and you get your
The
heavy
results.
metals test back.
Wow, very interesting.
And it tests for platinum, it tests for mercury, it tests for lead, arsenic, a whole bunch of metals. So.
Okay, cool. Okay, and then now, so you're cancer-free, and are there things that you're still doing in order to stay cancer-free?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a process, because a lot of people think, oh, you just do this and your cancer's gone. And that's not how it works, especially when you're using alternative medicine and natural things. Your body took years to get it into this situation.
Yeah,
it's
right.
going to take time to get it out.
Yeah.
And you have to really educate yourself, detox your home, detox your body, detox your food. Some of the things I can hit the highlights of.
Yeah, like how did you detox your home? What did you do for your home?
I started using essential oils, and I use that for everything. So I make my own scrub for the toilet and the sink.
Yeah.
And with just basic things like liquid Castile soap and baking soda and essential oils to scrub out the sink. I use vinegar and essential oils in the dryer instead of using chemical-filled dryer sheets and chemical liquid laundry detergent.
Okay.
I diffuse them in my home. I diffuse them at night. I take them orally. I take frankincense every day in DDR Prime. It's a combination of frankincense and some other essential oils.
Okay. And where do you get the DDR?
I get that particular one from doTERRA, but there's lots of, essential oil companies out there. I would just make sure that you use a company that is certified pure and therapeutic grade, and I know that doTERRA is that, so that's why I choose that. There's other Young Living.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Some other things out there.
Okay.
I do detox foot soaks twice a week.
Interesting.
Soak my feet in some juniper berry and geranium, and do that a couple days a week.
And so juniper berry and the geranium are also essential oils that you put in their foot bath.
Yeah, and just soak my feet while I'm doing my morning prayer.
Oh, nice.
And so I get a nice detox foot bath while I got those rosary beads.
And you do that
through my
twice a
finger.
week?
I do.
Wow, that's okay. That's incredible. Okay, and then are you still doing any vitamin C IVs?
I'm going to get 3 more, February, March, and April, just to get me through the winter. And the doc says, let's do 3 more. And then in April, I'll keep checking my nagalase level was the other thing that I knew.
Nagalase. I don't even know what nagalase is.
In a nutshell, this is very brief and very lay terms. Nagalase is this coating, a coat that cancer cells put on to hide from your immune system.
Okay, it sounds like the Lyme disease that we've been working with, and there's a special coating that they put on themselves. So there is this thing that they protect themselves.
Right, to go into hiding so that your immune system can't find them. So I came across a nagalase test, which you can't get from your local doctor. No. You have an alternative medicine doctor. Ordered that. That test was done. Yeah. I've had to go to so many different states because we can't get it in Ohio. So my first nagalase test was a little high, higher than, I shouldn't say high, but it was out of the normal range back in June. And so I retested 3 months. It came down a little more. And then I retested again, and finally it was within that normal range window, saying that there was no cancer cells. Between the nagalase level and the T1 breast thermography, I could say that I was cancer-free.
Okay. Now, is there any nutrient that you take? Because we take a special nutrient to take the biofilm off the Lyme. It's called nattoserapeptase. Is there anything you take that takes care of that biofilm?
Oh, the nagalase?
Yes.
Well, there is I think it's GCMAF. I was going to take that if my nagalase level didn't come down. Okay. Because what that does is it goes in and peels off that coat.
Yeah, right.
And so, but my nagalase level was coming down, and so I waited. And the doctor didn't know too much about GCMAF, so he said, I'd rather not do that. However, you don't have to get that from a doctor. You can actually order that.
Nutritional supplement.
And you give it to yourself in shots.
Oh, in shots?
Right.
Oh, so you inject.
Right, injections once a week. And you can actually call a company and they will send it to you. So.
Wow, okay.
But if you can get the doctor to order it, then hopefully your insurance or
will
something
pay,
will help pay
more
for
likely
that.
to pay, yeah. Okay. And then now you've also started a mission for yourself in wanting to help others and starting your own GoFundMe account. Tell me why you started the mission and what you hope to accomplish.
Well, that all came about because Dr. DeSauniers also offers an online program to go through her 7 Essentials system. And she's not selling product, it's an educational system so that you can go through these 7 areas of your life, whether it's detoxing, whether it's having your amalgams removed from your mouth, de-stressing, taking your foot off of the accelerator in life. That is a huge one for me. I'm still working on that. So anyway, there's 7 different topics that she goes through on this program. And when I bought the program, I thought, I wonder, I would really like to share all this information with other women. And women are asking me, Donna, do you know this? Do you know that? I have a friend. Can she call you? Can someone email you?
Who doesn't know somebody who has cancer? I mean, seriously, we all have somebody we know who has cancer. Yeah.
So last spring, I invited probably about 10 women to my house, and we just went through the program together. We met once a week for 7 weeks. And we went through the program, and then some women who didn't get to come said, hey, when are you going to do that again? And I said, you know, I should probably just open this to the public. You know, I wanted to do that.
Right.
So my journey is, Dr. DeSauniers also offers a 1-year coaching package to coach if you have breast cancer, but it's expensive. So I want to raise money so that I can go through that coaching program for the next year and then bring that knowledge to other women and men, you know, if you're a husband, I mean your wife or sister or mother or has gone through cancer. So I want to go through the coaching program myself, bring that information back to other women. And she also offers a retreat. That's a 2-day retreat. It's usually held in Georgia, I think.
Okay.
And bring that information back and share that with other women. And then I'm also putting together a breast health symposium this spring. I want to reach out to other women with the program at our local library and hopefully raise enough money to offer all these women a free thermogram.
Oh,
that would be great.
Gosh, that is a wonderful.
Yeah, if we can raise enough money for that, because insurance doesn't cover it. And so I'd like to just be able to say to women, it's $225. Take the $225 and go get a thermogram, you know, and then hopefully provide every woman that comes with a copy of Dr. DeSauniers' book, because I got so much information, a wealth of information out of that. Provide that for free and go through her program together. So
wonderful.
That's where the money. I just want to use it to educate women and let them know that there are other resources out there. That even if you are thinking traditional chemotherapy and radiation,
doesn't mean you can't do the alternative.
Doesn't it? You can always get IV vitamin C in conjunction with whatever you're doing. You can always take vitamins and supplements along with, you know, talk to your doctor.
Right.
But I chose not to go that route, and
yeah, you look great. So, you're feeling good.
I still have my hair. I went in to see my,
my
cosmetologist about 3 months later, and he was expecting me to be this bald. So over the summer, I stopped in and I said, hey, I just want to let you know I still have my hair, and it never fell out. And he said, it looks great. It looks healthy. Your skin looks healthy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Healthy weight. I was never sick, and I thought, you know, I never felt better. I feel so good. I feel so healthy. And the whole time, it's a healthy process. So
right, you don't have to go through feeling miserable.
Right.
You can continue to heal and to restore your health.
Right, and that's what it's about. It's about restoring your health, because as Dr. DeSauniers says, you didn't get cancer and it made you sick. You were sick, and then you developed cancer. It's not a disease, but it's a dis-ease in your body. So if you can fix the dis-ease that's going on, your body will do what it's supposed to do. So
for our viewers, if you want to help Donna and her mission, which would be wonderful, you can reach your mission. It's a GoFundMe account, and you want to tell us where they can find you?
Yeah, just go on to GoFundMe and put in my name, Donna McHaffie, and there's actually right now there's 2 Donna McHaffies there, but the woman on the right-hand side of the screen, I don't know what country she's from, but the writing is not English, so you'll know right away. I'm the one on the left.
And spell McHaffie.
McHaffie.
There we go.
And mine is on breast cancer education, and hers is not. So
awesome.
It'll be easy to tell.
What a wonderful thing and a wonderful gift for other people. Not only thank you for coming on our show and sharing your story, so that other people
for having me.
So other people can benefit. It's huge. And then to start this project of trying to help and reach other women and young women too, and older women as well. And most people have women in their lives. So whether it be your mother or a daughter or a sister or, cousin, this is great. So I hope many of our viewers will help you out. And thank you again
Great.
for starting a mission. That's
Great.
an awesome
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, healingyourself.life viewers.
We need your help in enabling us to continue to create great health videos for you.
So please support our mission by going to patreon.com/healingyourself and pledging any monthly amount you can.
Your pledge will also help us to afford a new Lyme peptide treatment therapy to improve our memory, and we will report on our progress to benefit you and others.
So remember, go to patreon.com/healingyourself and pledge today.
Were you going to tell them to go to patreon.com/healingyourself to pledge to help our memory treatment?
I thought I did. I'll do it. So please go to patreon.com/healingyourself and pledge today.
Thanks.
They say the stock market crashed today.
Yeah, I heard that.
Sounds like people's retirement accounts and savings accounts are going to get bailed into the banks.
Yeah.
Looks like pension plans and Social Security are going to get suspended too.
I know.
Sure, I'm glad we decided to put our money into gold and silver instead.
Me too.
Get your first ounce of silver at spot price and free shipping on any order over $99 at sdbullion.com/rp. Hey, Reluctant Preppers. If you haven't heard, we've already started our monthly 1-ounce U.S. Silver Eagle thank you gift to one active Patreon subscriber each month, signed by your host, Donna Kaiser. And you don't want to miss out on that.
Please help us grow by subscribing today at patreon.com/reluctantpreppers.